Hello everyone and welcome to episode 84 of the Voices of Boyle podcast. Today our guest is my good friend Georgette Marshall. Georgette is an extremely talented and creative person who has made Boyle her home. She takes us on her journey from her countryside childhood in Somerset to travelling all around the world and eventually ending up here in Boyle with her family. We dive into her passion for crafts, the inspiration behind her handmade sauna hat business, Crack and Crackle, and we talk about the importance of creativity and community in small town life. If you're anyways intrigued by sewing, making things, crafts, and or the recent explosion in popularity of saunas and ice plunges, you'll absolutely love this episode with Georgette. So sit back and enjoy. Good morning, Georgette, and welcome to the Voices of Boyle.
Good morning, Florence. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you on finally. We've been talking about it for a while.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it's a nice Sunday morning, good and early.
Oh, yes. Bright and breezy.
Yeah, it's lovely. So, Georgette, I suppose we're going to start by taking things way back to the beginning, and we'd like to know a little bit about you, where you were born and where you grew up.
Okay, so I was born in the southwest of England, Somerset, Wiltshire, sort of Bath city. You know?
That looks beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful city. So magical place to grow up, countryside, country towns. Just, very much, sort of what, Ireland is really. I've found that affiliation, but it's changed a lot back there now. So it's very different, way busier, way more people. That's where I grew up, a country girl.
And times were different back then, as you said. So I suppose a country girl was a country girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you didn't have a farm or anything, did you? Or were you close to farms?
No, I mean, I grew up in an old farmhouse.
Wow.
Next to a church, next to the fields. Playing outside from, get home from school, playing outside, sort of down the lane and, just freedom, absolute freedom. Really, really lovely childhood. I was, very privileged, and then moved to a village after there. Again, next to fields, next to a farm, next to the cows. Yeah.
So the country girl was always in you.
I think so, yeah.
And did you love that you had that childhood, Georgette, that freedom?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I think, I was an only child growing up, so I didn't, have brothers and sisters to sort of hang out with. So at times it was quite lonely. But I loved my school. And that's, I just got stuck into school, loved all my friends. I was, quite big into sports as well, team sports. So, you just kind of get on, you get on with it. And, I loved my childhood.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, you stayed in England until what age?
So complicated, sort of moving here, there and everywhere. But I travelled quite young. I actually left home when I was 17. I started working when I was 14, sort of waitressing and working in clothes shops and things like that. And then when I was 17, I left home really. And then 18, 19, I moved to Egypt and worked in Egypt for a scuba diving company. And then I think it was, sort of about 5 months really, sort of doing that. And then from there on, really, I moved to Birmingham, I moved to London, I moved to Bath, Bristol. So I've just always been on the move.
So that was the start of the movement.
Yeah.
So obviously you've seen a lot, you've done a lot, and then you came to Boyle.
I know.
Why Boyle? Why did you choose Boyle?
Well, I was living in Mid Wales before here for about 5 years, and brought my kids up there from sort of young age. And so we were kind of renting art studios and renting house, lived in a magical house, loved the house. It was on a Lady Linlithgow's estate in so it was just this gorgeous house, views. The kids had such an idyllic,
Wow.
Garden to play in, and but yeah, just spending money out all the time on rents. Yeah, just knew that we just had to find a base. So my mum actually looked up and said, "Well, what about Ireland?"
Wow. Okay. So it was just like that.
Yeah, and just looked randomly online, found the house, and at that time, this is going back about 10 years ago now. At that time, the pound was strong against the euro, and very, 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 very lucky to just make the move, find the house. Mum sold her house really quickly, and it just all happened within about 6 months, really. It was really quick.
And when you say Georgette found the house, did you find, so you're just living outside Boyle, obviously. Did you find that online before you came?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and flew out in November.
That's amazing.
To have a quick look at it. It was damp. It was smelly. It was really quite,
But you could see the potential.
I could see the potential, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just think it's mad that people do that. A lot of people that live in Boyle at the minute, that's the way they landed up here. Was they literally looked on Daft, found the house and was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And like they have no ties to the area. And
nothing at all.
That's what brought them here. I think it's mad.
Yeah. It was mad. And it was, the kids were really young as well. So it was relocating them. Obviously, I think it was a bit tougher on them, really, because it was a bit of a culture shock from having to learn Welsh in school and then coming to Ireland and then having to learn Irish, So it was, great for them to kind of see how.
And how old were the girls then, Georgette? That was did you say 10 years ago? So?
Yeah, so 10 years ago. So
they'd be only young. Yeah,
really young.
Yeah.
Sort of 5, 6, and Rue would have been 8. Yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah.
And I suppose going from Wales to Ireland, for the kids, definitely with school was a big thing, but you were quite remote where you were anyway, in terms of it wasn't a massive, massive shift that way.
Yeah, not culturally, sort of being in the countryside. It was sad to leave friends, and my dad was, quite close to us as well there. And yeah, we had a love, when you move somewhere, it takes time for you to kind of find your way. And so yeah, it was sad leaving a lot of people, but I know that they're I can go back there and they're still friends, and it's lovely to have that, to different, all sort of different areas around where you can
always go back and feel like you're home.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice.
And Georgette, what were your first impressions then of Boyle? Obviously, it's a small town.
Well, this is going back 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I can see the change just in 10 years. Yeah, it felt like a ghost town back then. It felt, I know that there's still a lot of empty places in the town now. It's definitely got a little bit more vibrancy about it. Sort of obviously money's been being spent on it to bring it back to what I hear of the glory days, and I can imagine what it used to be like. But yeah, it was it felt a bit sad, actually, back then. I do remember, I always kind of walk around the street and you kind of smile at people. And yeah, sort of some of the older generation, almost find it hard to smile at times. And I felt that, you kind of feel that there's a lot of history here. You can, you feel that energy. So yeah, I think just wandering around now, it's lovely to see the kids wandering around after school. That's something that I've really noticed with the kids. They're also sort of they're very polite. a lot more polite, I would say, possibly than, sort of English kids sort of around town. They're a lot more verbal, sort of, and
They're a lot more social, do you
yeah,
think?
I think so. Yeah, there's definitely that's because, but here, it'll be going, but here, it's still got that country feel of, everybody's your neighbour and families know other families and there's a lot of connection. And that's something that, has been lost, a long time ago in England, especially where everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
And cousins would be living just up the road, or, sort of your sister-in-law would be next door. And I mean, that's how England used to be. And it's not, it's rare to find that in England now. So to come here, it's beautiful to experience that, sort of proper how people should be living in their communities. Yeah.
And I feel like it's like a trickle effect. Like if you have, say, one of the days I saw two lads that were coming over from Abbey Community College to Londis, and they were crossing there at the pedestrian crossing, and there was an older woman crossing.
Yeah.
And they went out in the middle of the road and they stopped the traffic to let them pass. And I was like, that is just so lovely.
Yeah.
But I think it leads by example. So if you have like someone treating someone like that, well, then everyone else looks and goes, well, it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas once that's lost, it's very hard to come back.
Absolutely. Just opening the door for somebody. It's the simple things, isn't it, in life that just, common courtesy. So, yeah.
So that's lovely, Georgette. So that's great to get your story. And obviously we know each other a long time, and I never knew that you went to Egypt. So I'm learning something new today. We'll talk to you about that afterwards. I want to know where you went.
Okay.
So you're in Boyle.
Yeah.
You have the young kids. You're up the mountain.
Yeah.
And you're starting to integrate into daily life in Boyle.
Yeah.
So it's 10 years later.
Yeah.
You have your own sauna hat business, which you've started recently.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Crack and Crackle.
Crack and Crackle. Yeah.
So first of all, why Crack and Crackle? Why the name? Because that's interesting. Yeah. And then why sauna hats?
Okay. So I work in the Leitrim Design House, and I've been there. I was trying to work out how long I've been there, which is probably a good sign. I think about 3 years or something like that. I love it there. It's just it's been a real opening to sort of meeting lots of like-minded people, and obviously working with craft, which is something that I sort of started House of Georgette when I was in Mid Wales, literally because I was at home with 3 kids and a sewing machine and wanting to sort of do something interior wise. So I did handmade interiors, cushions and just anything creative, just to give myself a creative outlet.
And Georgette, sorry, because this is a question I wanted to ask later on, but it's probably a good point now. The sewing machine.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. When did you learn how to sew, and did it stay with you all through life? Because that's obviously led to where you are today.
Yeah. Well, I remember Mum having an old Singer sewing machine when I was little, and Mum would make things. She didn't, she's I'm not very good, but she's actually really good. And then when I was at school, we did textiles. And I remember the teacher, Miss Kale. She was always quite frightening.
There's always one.
Yeah, but I actually I liked that. It sort of gave a challenge, and it sort of made me think. I really enjoy this whole process of actually having something at the end of it that actually looks all right. And I wanted to do it for A levels, but then they stopped the course, and then sort of my family dynamics sort of really changed. So all of that kind of went out the window. But I've always reflect back on that. That's actually in my heart at that point of my life. That's what I would have loved to have done, and it just didn't ever happen. So all these years later, obviously I eventually went back into education, and I did spatial design, and I did a interior architect degree in Manchester, which is obviously just drawing and computers, nothing sort of physically sort of making anything with your hands. And And then I had Rue, and then I had Florence, and I had Ello.
And there you were with 3 young kids and a sewing machine.
Yeah, well, I bought myself.
I
bought it, and it sat on the table. I was almost afraid of it. You know,
Really?
yeah. It sat on my table for months, just shining away, and I was frightened of it. And I can remember looking for people locally that could just give me a hand or just get me going, and there wasn't anybody around. And I just thought, do you know what, George, just get on with it and just get back, you know, just try to remember, and, you know, little videos. I think YouTube was probably just kind of coming out a little bit then. And slowly, just perfected and worked out what fabrics and materials I really liked working with. And yeah, just started up a little, I do little craft stalls, you know, and it was just fun. Yeah, it was just...
So just started with cushions and things like that.
Yeah, but I wanted everything to have quality, you know, everything just, you know, I can look at something and I can see if it's worth what it's worth, or the work that's gone into it. So everything had to be piped, you know, zipped, and you know,
finished properly.
Yeah.
So the Leitrim Design House and the crafts, that kept you busy then for a couple of years, really.
Well, yeah.
Well, the crafts first, and then later the Leitrim Design House.
Yeah, but I mean, I was doing quite a lot of interior design work before that, just, you know, and COVID kind of struck, and a job came up, and I didn't take it because I had another job that I was doing at the time. So I was kind of torn. I was like, oh God, you know, should I take a risk or should I do, you know? So I thought, no, I'll take a risk, and that kind of worked for a little bit, and then I that job finished, and I was like, oh no, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma phoned up and said, oh, a job's come up again. Like, would you like it? And I was like, oh my God, that's great. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, I've been there ever since, you know, just part-time. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So the interior design projects, the crafts, you were obviously, the more time went on, the better you got at using the sewing machine.
Yeah.
And the Leitrim Design House. And now it's you decided to create your own sauna hats, handmade sauna hats.
Yeah.
So obviously there's been a huge explosion in saunas in the last even year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
People are really experiencing the benefits, and that coupled with the cold baths or the cold plunges, it's just skyrocketed.
Yeah, so it's turning into a real lifestyle.
It is.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about when you decided to start making sauna hats, and why sauna hats?
Okay, so I've quite enjoyed sort of using a sauna, purely just, you know, not that often, just, you know, as a treat, really. And my lovely friend Tara, we went off one morning, off to the sauna, and we were sat in the sauna, and one of the lads in there, he had a hat on, and we were both looking at each other, going, God, he looks ridiculous.
You do when you see them, because
because you don't really often, you know, now they're becoming, but like, it's just like, God, is it like, so Tara, she looks up and she's like, can you just like tell us the story then behind these hats? And he did, and we were like, wow, like, you know, looking at each other, and he kindly gave us a hat each, and we tried it, and we were like, wow, this is an absolute game changer.
Makes such a difference.
Such a difference. So we were just buzzing away about talking about these hats, and we came home, and I walked through the door, and I was just like to Nathan, I was like, wow, we just tried these sauna hats, and it was just like, and he's like, why don't you make them?
Good man, Nathan.
I know. And I sort of sat with it for a bit. And I thought, do you know what? Like, I could make them, and again looked into sort of what was on, you know, what was around, different price brackets, finding out the fabric, So it took time to just, sort of a couple of months to just sort of sit on it a little bit. And then I thought, right, let's just go for it. And the first few were, they looked all right, but they weren't up to,
Georgette standards.
not my standards.
Yeah, you want to get it right, yeah.
So yeah, I've just kind of perfected it, and I can't make them fast enough. So it's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. They're fun, they're quirky, and they look nice on. They don't look like these hats that a lot of companies are sort of these sauna businesses now. They're just importing these hats from China. And I call them the bell end hats because they just look
they're not great.
They're not great, really. And yeah, so I want to be competitive with them and obviously fly the flag for something that's handcrafted, really. And it's being made slowly with intention, and that's why you're going into a sauna. You're not, you're going in for an experience, and the whole experience should be, exactly what that is about. And so to have something that's handmade on your head that just feels really nice, you don't look like an idiot. And
they're absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
For those that are interested in saunas, we've been around a good few saunas, and Georgette's hats are honestly, and I'm not just saying it because you're here and you brought me coffee. They are so nice.
Thank you.
They're bright, they're colourful, the quality, they're finished so well. So the stitching is like a really nice bright colour. And then you can put them down, which I love. A feature of them is they're made in such a way that you have like a little bit of material at the top. If you want privacy in the sauna, you can put it down over your eyes and be like one of those people who, I'm
not
the zone,
talking.
Don't talk to me. Or if you're feeling a little bit social, you can put up the bit of material at the front and you can talk to people and actually not look silly while you're doing it.
Yeah.
They are really, really nice, and we'll obviously put the link below for anyone that is interested in getting them. And then I suppose, Georgette, in a world where everything is mass produced these days, to have something that's handmade in the west of Ireland by one person who has made all the hats. It's not like you're farming out this to somebody else.
No.
It really does help small creative people like yourself when
massively,
people buy.
Massively. Like, you've got no idea. Just, I'm realistically, if I was being, I charge a price for the hat that barely covers, sort of cost, really, and obviously the time that I spend on it. But it's just really important that people understand that when they're looking at one hat that's like 20 euros and one hat that's like 35 euros, there's so much that goes into that extra for the other hats.
What that €15 represents.
Yeah, that's my wages.
It's like oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
And the price really is not. You probably should be charging double, triple.
Oh, easy. I could, and I should.
Yeah.
But I want to be authentic, and I want to, I want the hats out there. I want people to be able to experience the hat rather than, and to support it rather than, just sort of think of it in monetary terms. There's and I think once people start realizing that it'll open their eyes up to other things, that people make and the effort that goes into that. And
absolutely, and it's it's a trickle effect in terms of it's not just I'll get a handmade sauna hat. If you don't support, and this is, I think more people are becoming aware of this, if you don't support local creative people that are making these things, you're not going to say, oh well, now I'm doing well with the sauna hats, now I'm going to start making X, Y and Z. You're going to say, well, the sauna hats didn't work, now I'm not going to make anything else. So it's a trickle effect on everything.
Oh, absolutely. And creativity is just so important.
It is.
It's so important because it's, it like you say, it ripples in it inspires other people to have a go at doing something that, you know, we're all capable of doing. We're all capable of putting the effort into something and not just going for the cheap, easy option. It's really important.
Really important.
Yeah.
And Boyle, Georgette, is a very creative place in general. There's a lot of creative people here.
Yeah.
Do you like that community?
I do. It's it can be quite overwhelming at times. But I think everybody's in the same boat, and it's lovely to have that community and for, you know, different talents, like the array and you know, it's like, wow,
what people can do.
Yeah, it's fascinating, really.
And obviously we have the weekly market, and which is great for people that want to showcase what they can create locally. And we have the Christmas market too.
Yeah.
So King House Christmas, you never know. If there might be a Crack and Crackle stall.
There might be.
If you have time to make them.
I know.
Because it is time. Like it takes a lot of time to make one single hat. So, yeah.
Well, you know, at the moment I'm literally just cutting out like I'm just trying to get everything cut out. You know, that's like turning into about a 3-day job at the moment, sort of with life that goes on around it.
And a job.
Yeah.
As we know, Georgette, running a business isn't easy at all. So tell us a little bit about the people or the things that make it a little bit easier for you.
So yeah, my dad is my number one fan, I would say. He's always been there and supported all my random kind of ventures and whatever direction I've kind of been in and doing. You know, he's worked so hard all his life, and my childhood wasn't a materialistic one at all. It was just, you know, it was purely having experiences, and through that's obviously like given me loads of confidence in life to venture out into the world and to know that he's always there as well. I just really like to thank my dad for that, and obviously loads of friends along the way who have just been just wonderful to have in my life. So just to have the people around you is amazing. Yeah.
It's hard to do anything without that support.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You know, it goes without saying, obviously, my, you know, mum and Nathan and the kids and everything. So, but yeah, it's just to feel that you've got the confidence to just go and do that, which is huge, actually. It's, you know, because you doubt yourself, especially as a creative person. You know, you think, what am I doing? Is this going to work? You know, you persevere, but sometimes there's a rainbow coming out.
Sometimes you need people to lift you up, and sometimes you need people to take you back down.
Bring you back down. Because it's, you know, you're going up and down all the time. But yeah, so, you know, if anybody out there is you know, wants to be creative, you know, just have the confidence in yourself, because it's literally just having consistency and just having a go.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you can only do your best.
Exactly. Lovely words. Thanks for that, Georgette. So, Georgette, you've taken an idea, which is, like, anyone that can do this is should be commended. You've taken an idea from that one day from
having a bit of crack.
One of Nathan's comments that you listened to.
Yeah.
And now you have a business.
Yeah.
And now you're going out to the lads here in Lockheed.
Yeah,
Darren
they've been
and Shane.
so supportive.
Sauna. Yeah.
So supportive.
And now you're going out there seeing people wearing the hats.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about that and how that makes you feel.
Well, I've also got the hats in other places as well, from the confidence actually of having them in case order, which is, you know, but yeah, it's kind of weird in a you know, or if I wear my hat out and people are like, oh, I like your hat, and I'm like, oh, Thank you.
Yeah.
I make them actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's just kind of opening up people's, sort of awareness that,
And you must get a real kick, like inside, whether you notice it or not, to say, "Well, I made that."
yeah, it's satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a satisfying thing, but that's what's really important as far as what kids are learning at the moment and not being taught, because I mean, I did the workshop in Boyle, and oh my God, it was there were so many kids around me the whole time, absolutely infatuated just by a sewing machine. Like, when you think of it like that, and a sewing machine would have been in everybody's house, and everybody would have been sewing and making their clothes or fixing their clothes or whatever. And these kids, some of them have never really seen a working sewing machine now. And that was something that I did when I was in Wales, when the kids were in primary school. I did a sewing workshop where I would go in, I'd set up 5 sewing machines, and I'd teach kids from sort of 6 years, up, and they would create something that they've made, after a 6-week little course, sort of doing each week an hour or something like that. And the satisfaction on their faces of, making something out of nothing. That's basically what it is. You're making something out of nothing. It's functional. It's where, whatever it is, you use it. And some of these kids now, this is, sort of coming sort of, again, sort of, I don't know, sort of 10 years ago. I mean, they've grown up now. They're teenagers now. And they still come up to me and say, I've still got my owl cushion.
But this is it.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Yeah.
And like, I think workshops like that, so for those that weren't or didn't know, in the Arts Festival, Georgette ran a workshop for kids during this year's Arts Festival. And I just think creative things like that are so important. I'm sure there was a child at that workshop that in 10, 15 years will be like, thanks to you, Georgette, I can now take up my own trousers.
Yeah, absolutely. And boys and girls.
Yeah.
Not just girls, boys. They love, they love it. And like you just said there's a girl that I taught in Wales. I mean, she's like making she's gone to university to do, textiles. She's gone beyond. I mean, way above what I can do on a sewing machine. And
And you were the one that introduced her to it way back when.
Yeah, she'd come to the sewing classes. And it's just like, wow, go you.
Yeah. It's amazing. And kids at a certain age, they're like sponges. And I suppose it's what they're exposed to that really determines their passions and what they enjoy.
Yeah. But why aren't they doing it in school? Why?
Know.
What has stopped, And
we did it in home economics, but that was secondary school.
Yeah.
So we had a teacher, Peggy Gilboy, bless her.
Aww.
She was our home economics teacher, and like that too, we made an apron.
Yeah.
Like an apron for our cooking practicals, and also a hairband, and things like that.
Yeah.
And like that, you came home with something that, oh, look what I made.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, kids, I think primary school kids should be introduced. Okay, you can't give everyone a sewing machine with safety and things like that, but you can have demonstrations, and get them involved in other ways. And then in secondary school, elaborate and get them making more things.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, even if it's not to be turned into a business or a career, to be able to just take up your own.
It's a life skill.
It's so important.
A life skill. And especially now with so many clothes that are just bought, like with fast fashion, there's so much fabric around that just gets thrown away.
The amount of people, Georgette, that bring their clothes into dressmakers here in town, and the cost of the alterations is way more than the actual price of the clothes.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
It's nuts, isn't it?
It's insane.
Yeah.
I'd say if you had heard that now 10, 15 years ago, you'd be like, no, stop, you're off your rocker. That's never going to happen.
I know.
But that's where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, It's very sad. I know there's a lot more awareness now, and I know like a lot of sort of larger companies are seeing that and realizing it. But yeah, it's a very simple skill that even just to sew a button on, it's
I couldn't do it. Like, I'm here preaching, I couldn't do it.
yeah.
So, like, we all need to learn.
Yeah.
So, on that note, when is the next workshop? Would you seriously think about doing a couple of workshops? I know when you have a lot going on, but
yeah, I definitely. I'm not. I'm definitely up for doing it. I think at the moment, just need to get Christmas kind of over, but maybe in springtime. Yeah.
I definitely think there's a need there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's Upcycle. There's a Roscommon group of ladies that are upcycling and making really nice bags, and they're all like reusing fabrics and things like that. So that there are lots. It's coming back. It's
Brilliant.
Definitely coming back. So yeah, don't just rely on me.
For now, we are. So that's brilliant, Georgette, and that's the sauna hats. Oh, Crack and Crackle.
Yeah.
We want to understand why the name Crack and Crackle.
Okay, so you've got to understand. I'm sat in a craft shop. I'm surrounded by all this amazing like craft, Irish made, beautiful stuff, and I'm sitting there, and it's like having writer's block. And I'm sat chatting with my friend at the desk, and she's also was very creative. Well, she is very creative. She doesn't work there anymore, and I was like, we could do something. Why don't we what are we doing? Almost getting frustrated. So we were going to do something together, and I went off and I was like, God, find a name. And I love the word crack. It's just such a great word, isn't it? It's just that, it just speaks Irish and I love a bit of crack. Like,
yeah.
I love to have a laugh. And I came back and I was like, what about Crack and Crackle? And she's like, she's like, I think I'm going to leave now, the job. Not from me saying that, but she was, moving on to other things. And I just thought, well, I really like that name. So I made a few little bits and bobs, just because I hadn't actually used the sewing machine for years. I have had literally writer's, block, as in the sense of creativity of just making something and enjoying it. Again, the sewing machine was sat on the table probably for years this time. And with so much going on, like with the house, whatever, life. And so, yeah, I picked up a little bit and made a few really nice little purses, and so I've still got it. I can still do it. But that's basically where the name came from. Just an urge that I need to do something. And then when we were sat in the sauna, it was almost like everything came together. It was like, well, we're sat in a sauna where you have crack, and you're crackling as well, in the heat. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect.
So the crack bit came first, because you love the word, and then the crackle. Did you think that just sounded really good, or was there meaning behind that originally?
No, well, actually, I tell a lie. The crackle was obviously with my say with like House of Georgette, which is as far as my interior design, it was actually like the crackle on furniture. So it's, it's like with paint. It was like the paint crack, like with old paint using old furniture, and which is obviously I can't fly a flag high enough for, is, sort of upcycling old furniture. It's like the crackle in old paint. So that's where I was going with Crack and Crackle initially. I had no idea I was going to end up doing sauna hats. Like, it's just completely come out of absolute...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you Crack and Crackle, like, I thought that was for the sauna hats.
No.
Right, okay. So that was for kind of what you were going to create.
Yeah, it was just like, So it's all kind of fallen into place in a really weird way, like,
Yeah, because like saunas can be crack.
Yeah.
You have the crack in the sauna, and then crackle is like the crackle of the wood, the crackle of the fire.
Yeah, or the sizzle.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so crackle was originally for the restoration of old even leather.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the cracks
Absolutely.
in leather. Yeah.
Just aging, something
Yeah.
that's aging and has, you know, sort of a story, you know, but it's
Brilliant. So it all worked out, Georgette.
I know, random.
Brilliant.
Very random. Yeah.
And then we have out in Lockheed at the Lads where they have the sauna, some of Georgette's posters and stuff are up there, and you can buy the hats from the Lads.
You can. Yeah.
And then there's other stockists, but I suppose they might change if they run out of that, but there's the website as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can put that in the description.
Brilliant.
So that's brilliant, Georgette. So that's the sauna hats. And I did want to talk about the importance of sewing. So you kind of covered that and the importance of it for the next generation.
Yeah.
And not to let like fast fashion and all of that kind of stuff take away from the art of sewing and what it brings to every household.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very important. Yeah.
So that was really that. So I suppose let's just talk briefly about Boyle itself and where do you get your inspiration from? Because you're obviously a very creative person.
Yeah.
So where do you get your inspiration from? Is there anything about Boyle that inspires you, or any places, any people, or is it from somewhere else?
Well, I suppose I don't go out a lot in Boyle, but I've been really, really fortunate to meet really great people in Boyle. So for me, that's kind of you know, my Irish kind of family, you know, sort of crew. And in COVID, I spent quite a lot of time with quite a well-known character, sort of working on his property at the time. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I learnt a lot about Boyle
during that time.
I just the you know, the town is lovely. The town, I mean, for me, just the river is just the energy that just flows through the town. It's just, I would just love to see a little bit more independent shops there, and I'd love to see a lot more footfall there. People do try their best. They really try their best. It must be really, really hard. I did actually look at having a little shop in Boyle, but it's just too expensive. It's just too much. With rents and the rates, and of course when I was here 10 years ago, I mean, they were selling the, you know, sort of 4 story houses. I mean, they were up for about 50,000 back then, and you know, obviously they're still in exactly the same state, and obviously they're probably about 300 now. So you know, if only I'd had 50 grand back then.
I know. It's tough. It's hard to get started with something and have your own little place.
Yeah, because there's so, like we were saying before, there's so many people. There's so many creative people. I think it's great, the gallery that's opened up just over the bridge there, the art gallery. That's a massive contribution to the town for the artists and for the makers. And obviously, you know, you've got the interior design shop there, which is great to have that. I love the old jewellery shops and anything that hasn't changed for, you know, donkey's years.
Taylor's is great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just don't get that anymore back in England or Wales. Wales was, you know, quite similar. And yeah, you know, obviously things have to change, but to be able to hold on to sort of the older ways is beautiful, and it should be cherished and, you know, sort of definitely looked after, because that's what gives the town the character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So plans for the future then, Georgette? That's a big question. I know we spoke about Christmas and the markets, and you have a lot going on with the hats and actually holding down a job.
Yeah.
So what are the plans for the future for Crack and Crackle? Do you have plans for new products? And you mentioned spring there for the workshops.
Yeah. Yeah, it's trying to forward think, isn't it?
You're like, I'm not going to say anything, because then I'm like planting a seed.
I know. Yeah. I know. Scary. No, but that's what you said.
Yeah.
know.
Now 3 years later.
I know. If only we could work, as fast as our brains do. That would be great, wouldn't it? But yeah, things always take time. So with Crack and Crackle, I mean, I'd love to do a Crack and Crackle sauna hat tour. That's something I'd really love to do, is just because I think that would be a great way to get the hats out and just, visit. There's so many amazing saunas out there now.
Fantastic. You could have like one day a month where you go up to a different sauna and everyone bring their hats.
Yeah.
And like, I think...
And have the crack.
Yeah. And like, I think there's definitely, even in the last 6 months, there's a huge surge in kind of focus on wellness and things like that. But also, more importantly, I think the community aspect of it.
Yes.
So like, that's definitely an opportunity there.
Oh gosh, without a doubt.
And on that note, actually, before we do forget, talk to us about what's happening in October, early October, with yourself and Tara.
Oh gosh,
out in Lockheed.
Yeah, I threw that at me.
Yeah.
Well, it's Tara. It's not me. It's not me. The hats will be there.
Yeah,
but Tara's starting up on the Friday mornings, yoga and the sauna. At K Sauna. So, which, oh God, is just for a Friday morning. Where it is absolutely stunning, and that's purely for anybody, community, just whatever age, just to get together on a Friday morning and just relax.
Exactly. And it's lovely because I was thinking the other day, like, nobody really goes out socializing anymore, well, not to the extent that they did. So you need other avenues to meet people and socialise.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, it's a lovely way of doing it. There's no alcohol involved.
No.
You're looking after yourself.
Yeah.
And you're meeting like-minded people.
Absolutely. I think this is where it is all taking off. It's people are realising that you walk into a sauna, don't you? And you don't know who's in there.
And you have some interesting conversations.
Yeah, you do. You do. It's really interesting, and I think you feel safe as well when you go into a sauna, as in you're all in there for the right reasons. There's not going to be any trouble. And everybody's very kind and very, just doing their thing, and it's all about relaxing. And like you say, if you want to engage, you can. If you don't, it's very respectful. No
technology, which is brilliant.
And when you come out of the sauna, and if you've driven to this place, or if you're lucky enough, you've got one in the garden or whatever, when you come out, you just feel so reset. And just ready, relaxed, whether you're having problems with sleeping, or, if you're stressed, or if there's something wrong with your body, it all helps, doesn't it? It's just a really simple act of kindness to yourself. And so I can't wait for that on the Friday mornings.
Brilliant. And hopefully it's the start of a regular thing, because again, just to have it on your doorstep out in Lockheed, and you could travel the length and breadth of the country and you will not get a view like you have wouldn't. From the sauna out in Lockheed.
Oh, it's absolutely, and you don't really because even when you walk past that sauna, you don't really you don't engage with it as much as what you do when you're sat inside the sauna. It's only when you're sat in it and you're looking out across it, and the different weathers and the rain or the sun, it's changing like by the minute, the whole view, isn't it? It's absolutely stunning.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
If whoever's listening hasn't been,
oh, go.
Yeah, because it is an addiction. You could kind of get addicted.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful, stunning. Yeah, and just relaxed.
Brilliant, Georgette. Well, I think that's great. I think we've covered everything. So plans for the future, we have look out for Tara's event in Lockheed, and hopefully there'll be many more. And then we have potentially a sauna, a Crackle and Crackle tour. Keep an eye.
Yeah.
And then hopefully the Christmas markets too. And if not, they're always available on the website.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so
Florence.
Anything else, Georgette, that we'd like to talk about? Do you think you've covered everything?
I think I've talked my head off.
Georgette, thank you so much for coming on The Voice of Boyle, and we look forward to what's to come for Crack and Crackle.
Brilliant. Thanks, Florence.